So this is a lonely single. What a sad life this second half goals selection is living right now. Let's find a partner for it, a partner in crime. Welcome back, football fans. Join me as I look through all of Friday's games. Not all of the games, of course, but the games that have took my eye, the games that I've found through filters, through trends pages, through Copilot. As you can see, we've got J League action. We're going to be starting in Switzerland. I found a great option there for second half goals in Switzerland. That one actually came from Copilot. And I've also got some news about the bet slip generator. Big update coming today, so stay tuned in this video for that. But first, as I just continue scrolling through Friday's games, as we get to 11 AM here, you can see the amount of games that there actually is. Congratulations to this person. Well done. You were the winner of a month of Odd Alerts Pro. Thank you for your comment on the last video. And if you want to win Pro, all you've got to do is add a comment to this video. It is that simple. You will automatically be entered into a draw to win. And I've got a question for you to make it easy. What is your favorite market? And I'm going to be looking closely at the comments of this video, and I will factor it into the next video. So for this video, we're going to mix it up. We're going to be looking at second half goals to start. Then we're going to be looking at home wins and maybe some goals in there as well. But let me know in the comments, what is your favorite market? What is your most profitable market? And what is a market maybe that you want to improve on, or a market that you want to see a bit more of on the channel? No wrong answers. And with that said, I look forward to reading your comments, and let's get into the video. Run the intro.
Football drives our hearts. Data plays its part. Value bets we seek with Joe from OddAlerts.com.
So I thought we'd actually start with a quick review of the Carabao Cup. We had the BTTS for the Liverpool-Brighton game. We had Chelsea to score, which of course didn't happen. Very surprised by that. But when you look at that Chelsea defence, I mean, they shot themselves in the foot with both goals pretty much. But with Nkunku on the pitch, Felix on the pitch, Shrewsbury Hall missed a massive chance just straight at the keeper. Low, tame effort. Disappointing that, but fair play to Newcastle. We did expect massive changes in that Chelsea squad, to be fair. And in these next couple of games, I think early goals killed the games to some extent. Man United, very surprised by this actually. Man United, there was just one card in that game. If you've watched the previous videos, the Premier League previews, Man United under Ten Hag had 2 or more cards in every game they had played. This is the first game of the season where they have not received a single card. And I do think those early goals, the general control of the game that they had. Leicester, yes, they scored 2 goals, but they were kind of breakaway goals. There was never any sustained period of pressure from Leicester. And Arsenal, we had them to get booked. I hold my hands up here. You know, this wasn't the best prediction by me. I'll be fair. Arsenal to get a card, they dominated from the first minute, and even as a Blackpool fan, maybe I expected Preston to have a go and offer a little bit more. They just didn't show up at all, and that can happen. But I was just predicting the opposite. I was predicting that they would actually give Arsenal a bit of a test in what was a rotated Arsenal team. They didn't, and Arsenal just dominated from the first minute. And again, early goals definitely changed games. We didn't have anything on the Palace game. I thought, you know, that could be a bit of a tricky one to call. And what do you know? Palace actually went there and won, which is a fantastic result for them into the last 8 of the competition. And Tottenham beating City, fantastic. We had Solanke to score or assist, and once more, he did nothing. I feel like many FPL managers at the moment sort of running out of patience with Dominic Solanke. And that bet builder, I think the other options, the other lines came in. But of course, Solanke score or assist, no. Good performance from Tottenham. Man City with a few more injuries as well. Interesting to see how they do in the Premier League. If you want a Premier League preview video, by the way, make sure you like this video. If it gets 500 likes, I will be back here tomorrow morning, 7 AM, with a Premier League video. So on to today's fixtures, and the first one actually came from Copilot. Now, if you're not sure what Copilot is, you click this button up here, and you get a little synopsis of a game. Rander's win probability is higher than implied odds, offering a value bet. So you've got a value bet there. And when I clicked on it the other day, I saw that there was some interesting statistics from Switzerland for a team that are playing tonight on Friday. And by the way, all the games that I'm going to mention in this video are for Friday, the 1st of November. So it's from the Challenge League, and after 12 games, this home team, and you can try and pronounce this with me, Neuchâtel Xamax against Lille. So you've got both ends of the spectrum there in terms of football team names. And one thing that stood out, thanks to Copilot, made it very easy to just go in and check this data. There has been a second half goal in every single game that this home team has played this season. These are the results, pretty mixed bag. They've lost 4 games. They've won the majority, as you can see. They are third. They are playing 8th in the table. And the probability model, if we just take a look at that, is narrowly expecting them to win. So it could be a tighter game than those initial results suggest. If we look at the away team, they're tough to beat because they've drawn a lot of games. And away from home, they have lost the majority. So the home win potentially is something that you could look at, maybe double chance. But what I am looking at, I will show you on the next screen. So the market that I'm looking at is the home team to score in the second half. And we can see actually, if we look at the timings data within the goals tab here, that there is a spike, a big spike between the 80th and 90th minute, so the last 10 minutes of the game, in terms of conceding goals for Lille. That could be something to look out for. You can see in terms of goals scored, if we just look at the home team here, there is a spike after 70 minutes. So the last 20 minutes of the game, they might get a goal. But just in general, as I said before, second half goals, it has happened at least one. Some of the games have had 3 or 4 second half goals, at least one in every single game they've played this season. So this is a lonely, lonely single. What a sad life this second half goals selection is living right now. Let's find a partner for it, a partner in crime. And we are going to look at the quick filtering option here. If you've never used quick filters, it is a quick way to filter through thousands of teams in a matter of seconds for the stats of your choice. So if we're looking at second half goals, you can just quickly scroll down to scored in the second half. Let's go with 50% for both teams and just see where we land with that. And we're going to sort by the away team, sort by those statistics there. And of course, I've not put a game filter on it, so we will avoid any team that has played 1 or 2, and we'll just take a look at some of these games. We've got games from the United Arab Emirates. We've got games from Cyprus. We've got a game here from Korea playing a little bit early for me to include it, I think. Maybe you'll miss it if you're watching this in the morning, but it is first against second in the K-League. That could be an interesting game. Let's see how that one does in the comments in terms of second half goals. Now then, Lille against Lyon, 4th hosting 6th in Liga 1. Interesting stuff here. And you can see home form against away form, these two teams are neck and neck. Only 4 games played, of course, if we look at the overall form, which is, I think, advisable at this stage of the season. Now, Lille have started the season well, just 2 defeats, and there is actually 3 clean sheets in the last 4 games. At home, though, they have conceded in the last 3, although they played PSG in there as well. For Lyon, 3 defeats all season. Pretty good going as well. They've lost to Marseille, they've lost to Monaco, no shame there, and then they lost the opening game of the season as well. I would say that Lyon are in slightly better form given when the defeats came, but it is marginal, and Lyon are not yet to play PSG as well. So we'll take a quick look at the head-to-head data. 4-3 the last game, that's what we want to see. 2-1, 2-0, 3-3, 2-2, 1-0, 1-0, 0-0. In recent times, the recent meetings have been quite fun, haven't they? 2 away wins in the last 3 games, only 1 home victory in the last 5 meetings between these 2 teams. Now, if we look at the timing data here, you can see that both teams are scoring more goals in the second half. Lyon have scored just 5 first half goals compared to 6 for Lille. So Lyon have scored 11 in the second half and Lille have scored 9. That's pretty good going. In terms of conceding in the second half, Lyon have conceded 1.1, whereas Lille have conceded just 2. So which way does this one swing? It's a big game, this one, between these two. So factor that in as well. Lille have scored in the second half in every game played at home this season. Now, that is just 4 out of 4 at this stage. Just jump back to the head-to-head. The last game at the end of last season had 5 goals in the second half, a late flurry of goals as well. There was 2 goals in the second half in the previous meeting before that, and then it looks like the game before, both goals actually came in the first half, 3-3 before that in 2023. Just going to have another look at the games recently for Lyon. So 3 goals in the second half of their game against Auxerre, and then 3 goals in the second half in the game before that, 1 goal, and then 1 goal. 5 goals against Marseille in the second half after it was 0-0 at half-time. 0-0 against Lens. Strasbourg, there was another 5 goals in the second half, 2 goals in the second half, and 1 goal in the second half. So every game has seen a second half goal some way or another, whether it's scoring or conceding. And let's just have a look at the goal scoring ability once more of Lyon, because Lyon are slightly better to score in the second half, 1.72 to score in the second half. And what we're hoping for, ideally, is that this game gets a little bit out of hand like the previous head-to-head meetings have done. So one thing to keep in mind is Lille's clean sheet record, 56% of all games. That is pretty good, isn't it, to be fair? In terms of scoring, 67% for Lyon, although that has improved. If we look at the last 5, it is 100%. Last 6, 83%. So they have found their shooting boots in recent weeks. I don't know why I said 100% before. 0-0 there. There couldn't have been a second half goal in that one, but every other game has seen at least 1 goal in the second half. So who do you think is more likely to get a second half goal in this game? And I mentioned that and I asked you that because 1.72 for Lyon, Lille 1.53. I like the look of Lyon because of how they have improved in front of goal recently and because they are, higher odds as well. And that takes us up to 2.71 for this double. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments. So that's how you can quickly create shortlists that are very, very valuable, high potential games for sure. What you can do is just put this to 80% if you just want to see if there's some outliers out there, some away teams that are consistently scoring in the second half. We can hit search and see if we get any teams. We do. Of course, I've not put a match filter on it again, but we still get some games here. Game from Czech Republic, there's an away team here, top of the league, that are scoring in the second half. They've scored in every game, as you can see there. Got a game from Malaysia, and yeah, I mean, look, there's quite a good number of teams. This is just for Friday. So that is with one rule, a single rule on a quick filter. And this is why I asked you as well, and comment down below if you didn't do it at the start of the video, what is your favorite market? What market do you want to explore more? For me, second half goals is always an interesting one because of the way the Bet Builder works on Bet365 and other bookmakers, that you're able to narrow down into that, second half corners, that kind of thing. Quick filtering allows you to find these games, and then you can use bet tracking as well to track your systems. You don't have to spend real money at first. I say this all the time. Discipline is absolutely key. If you're able to have discipline and just track games, paper trade, don't spend money, but just track as if you were, you can then say, okay, this works, this is great, or this needs tweaking, or what if I added this statistic into the filter as well? And there's also backtesting tools available on Odd Alerts as well, which you can check out. Go to the filters page, hit more, and then just click on filters here. For this next section, we jump to the trends pages, and we will take a quick look at some of the games being played here. Remember, we are looking at Friday's games. We've got a 100% record there. Airbus UK, are they from Wales? Yes, they are. They've won every game, and they're playing a team that has won just 33% of games. Not conceding too many goals, though, this away team, Bangor. But of course, scoring 5.33 goals per game, Airbus UK. Let's open that one in a new tab and potentially take a look at it deeper in a moment. And we'll take a look at the home wins page in general as well. BTTS, let's have a look at that, because Bayer Leverkusen are playing tonight. That could be an interesting game. 15 out of 16 games combined with Stuttgart. Stuttgart, very, very good team at the moment. They went to Juventus and beat Juventus and actually had about 22 shots in that game. So interesting to see that one. We will take a look at that game. We'll take a look at over 1.5 goals as well in a bit more detail. Over 2.5 goals, you've got Man City's under 21s playing Norwich under 21s. That could be an interesting game, because I reckon some of those under 21 players will not be playing. Maybe the usual suspects will not be playing, because they will have been elevated to the first team for the next few weeks because of the injuries to Manchester City's senior players. No Doku, no Grealish, no Savinho at the moment as well. So some of those attacking players might be out for Man City's under 21s. But regardless, we're going to set an alert on this one. Let me know if it increases by 20%. And I will go in and investigate that. And let's do the same thing. Let's go 1.8 for this Aston Villa game. So Airbus, they have won every game. 1.68 actually, the probability model not giving them as good a chance as the odds, as the bookmakers. 1.36. Let's do a AI fixture simulation regardless. We get a 2-1 victory. 2-0 was also a common scoreline. Just going to take a look at the goals that are being conceded, and yeah, you can see sort of why the probability model is giving the away side a bit of credit, to be fair. Away from home, they're not great, and you would expect them to not win this game, that is for sure. Airbus UK, interesting choice of name. Are they near an airport or something, or were they founded on an airstrip? I don't know. They've scored 8 goals in the last game, 4-1 at half-time, and their home record is simply sensational. We will take a quick look on Bet365 just to see what kind of markets are on offer. Usually not great. So Airbus to be winning at half-time and full-time is evens. Total goals, they're only offering 4. So the bet builder is a bit restricted, but I would say that the value, if any, is here. Airbus to be winning at half-time and full-time. They're absolutely more than capable. But what I will say is that they have conceded in the first half in the last 3 games, but they've also scored in the majority of games. You see those opening games there, 4-0 up at halftime, 3-0 up at halftime, 3-1 at halftime, 3-3 at halftime. They score so many goals, this team. 8-3 in their final game. They were 4-1 up at halftime. And for Bangor, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but in this one, we are just focusing on the strength of Airbus. And a single there at evens. Let me know what you think about that one. We might be able to combine this with another home team. Let's take a look at the strong home teams on the trends pages. So this is the trends page for home wins. You can click up here and select whichever market and outcome you like. We're looking at next 24 hours here because this is a video for Friday. And the game that stands out to me, here's Airbus, by the way, which we just looked at, half-time, full-time. You've got Dunkirk here as well, playing tonight, the French second league. They've won 83% of games, whereas the team they are playing has lost 80% of games, and they are 2.35. So they're the type of games that I like to look at double chance for. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But first, this one, Union Meur. I think that's how you say it. Union Meur, 6 games played away from home. They've lost every single game. In terms of goals in these games for these teams, average of 4. What I really like about this one, even though this team has only won 29% of those home games and they've only played 7, we'll take a look at the full fixture list in a minute. But what I really like here is that they've still scored 2.43 goals per game, and Union Meur have conceded 3.33 goals per game. So at 1.91 for them to continue this terrible, terrible run. This is why I like the trends pages, and this is why I've opted to return to this kind of format of a video for this video, because it's a bit of a weird one, because on YouTube, if I do videos on the Europa League, the Premier League, EFL, they get more views, right? Because it's in the title, Premier League predictions. But these videos where I'm looking at the useful tools on odd alerts that actually help you find games like this, these are the games that you really want to see, right? Whereas Premier League predictions, Premier League is one of the most unpredictable leagues in the world. That is a fact. So whilst we still have plenty of winners from the Premier League, it's more just about me trying to use my own knowledge of the Premier League, whereas this, I don't know where Union Muir are, I don't know any of the players, so I have to rely on the data and I have to look at the data, and it's the data that finds this game for me, which is just a very different way of these videos working. So let me know which one you prefer, whether you just like me to do the big leagues and stuff like that. But in terms of showcasing odd alerts and how you can actually find high potential games, profitable leagues, I think this is the way to go. So we'll take a look at their stats, Union Muir, and the first thing we notice is, of course, that they've lost every single game, negative 16 goal difference. In terms of goals at home, 2.43 per game. Overall, it goes down to 2. So this home team, regardless, home or away, they're still scoring goals. They are capable of scoring. 18 goals overall this season. Away from home, it is much worse. I'm just going to take a look at their home form, actually. Well, I tell you what, maybe this is where the odds come from. This is why you should always dig deeper into the results. So this is the away form for Union Muir, and they are conceding a bucket load of goals. At home, though, they are very, very good. And again, this is why I like the trends page. It just helps you find these interesting games and interesting teams. Just look at the contrast there. It's crazy. Can they get some of this form going on the road? Or will this continue as well? I mean, look at this. They've not won since the end of August. At home, a lot of draws and only one defeat. Incidentally, only one defeat. Now, the thing that stands out, I know we found this game through through looking at the worst away teams, but the thing that stands out for me is that there's usually a lot of goals in the games involving these teams. BTTS has landed in every game since they last won a game of football. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals, and that completes this double. This is a double that we've got from the home wins trends page. Yes, they are not both home wins. One is half-time, full-time, and one is over 2.5 goals. But if you have this mindset of backups in your mind, it doesn't matter where you come across a game, you can check out the data and have different markets to fall back on. Because I don't know about you, let me know how you feel about this. A team that can be that good at home and this bad away from home. Austria is not, it's not like, it's not China or Russia or anything. You're not traveling thousands and thousands of miles. So let me know what you think about that double, and now we'll move on to another trends page and see what we can find for today, Friday the 1st of November. So this is the BTTS page, and what you'll see here is that Luton are playing at home tonight. They are hosting West Brom. That should be an interesting game. Luton have scored in every home game. West Brom have scored in the majority of away games. BTTS, 83% of games for Luton. I think Luton are getting into a bit of form now after a very, very shaky start. They've scored in every home game, as we can see there, and 83% in terms of West Brom. Bangor, as we saw before. Eredivisie, the Eerste Divisie, John Gacy, that's a good league for BTTS in goals. What else have we got here? Away teams, 6 out of 6 for Bellinosa. Great name. In the Switzerland Challenge League as well. Swiss leagues are fantastic for goals, especially for the alerts. BTTS in every away game played so far, 6 out of 6. Scoring just 1.5 though, so I imagine they've had a few sort of 1-1s or 2-1 games. They've conceded in every game, of course. That's one we'll take a look at. And also, Bayer Leverkusen versus Stuttgart. Now the odds, 1.44. What I'm going to do is let me know when that hits 1.9. Got a game here as well from Czech Republic, Sparta Praha B. 22 out of 28 combined have seen BTTS. High averages in terms of the goals, low average or very, very average in terms of Sparta Praha's away form in terms of scoring. BTTS 71%, low goal difference. I will avoid that one. So from the BTTS page, we've got this game in Switzerland, and the first thing that stands out is that this home team is winless, -7 goal difference. They're taking a similar number of shots, more shots on target for the home team, despite them not winning a game yet. Let's have a look at their results. They have lost the last 4 games, they've won just 3. At home, they are winless, as we saw. Away from home, they've won 3. And for the away team, they have scored in every away game that they have played. The head-to-head shows us that the last 3 meetings, all in 2024, ended with BTTS landing. And in terms of BTTS, no team in this league has seen it more than this away team. This one is at 6:30 UK time, and BTTS is 1.8. 1.8 for BTTS. Let me know what you think about that one. Over 1 goal at 1.33 could be a safer option if you were to pair it with something else. Let's just keep looking at those other games from the page and see what we can find. So Bayer Leverkusen hosting Stuttgart. We'll take a look at all competitions because Stuttgart, as you can see, Juventus away, 1-0 victory. They followed that up with a 2-1 victory at home to Holstein Kiel, and then Kaiserslautern in the DFB Pokal in the week, 2-1 victory. So they've scored in the last 3 games. They've only failed to score this season against Bayern Munich. And for Leverkusen, let's have a look at their home form. It's pretty good, isn't it? Only defeat to Leipzig at the start of the season. And in terms of BTTS, 8 out of 8 for Leverkusen this season and 7 out of 8 for Stuttgart. Just looking at the second half goals scored table as well, Stuttgart scored 9 in 8. There's only 4 teams higher than them. In terms of scored a second half goal, it is 6 out of 8 games so far. So they've scored a second half goal in 75% of their games. Second half goals conceded, Stuttgart 11 in 8, so that could be an interesting option. Leverkusen to score in the second half, because at the moment 1.44 for BTTS. We set an alert before, didn't we? The alert is where it's at for these kind of games when the odds are so low. We can take a look at the bet builder and potentially take a look at the second half goal for Leverkusen, 1.28. Over 1 goal in the second half, 1.53. The odds are not fantastic at all for this. Leverkusen to score in the second half. So over 1 goal in the Austrian game, you can go BTTS 1.8 if you don't want to reduce the risk too much. Leverkusen to score in the second half, that's not a final decision. I'm just going to take a good look at the Luton game, which we also found on the BTTS page. Luton's form, it's not great, is it? They are on a bit of a come down after their Premier League journey. West Brom, yeah, we're not touching this game. 3 0-0s in the last 4 games. See you later. See you later. And we'll take a look at over 1.5 goals to complete this treble. But we're not going to get the game from the trends page. What we're going to do is create another quick filter, or what we could do actually is go to the value bets page. Sorry for not planning this. So we'll go over 1.5 goals and minimum odds, let's say 1.4, see if we get some games there. Kick-off in the next 24 hours. Let's remove the poor leagues in terms of the predictability. Exclude friendlies and cups. Yes, please. And let's see what we get. We get 4 games here. We've got Raith Rovers against Ayr United. That one looks okay for me, given the time. Deportivo Alaves against Mallorca as well. 1.63. 1.63. Let's take a look at this one. Going to be a long list of 0-0s, is there, in this? For Deportivo, they are not in good form. Over 1.5 goals has landed in the majority of games. Over 2.5 goals has landed in 1, 2, 3 of the last 5. Was a 1-0 in the previous game at home. They've conceded in 3 of the last 5 games. For Mallorca, away from home, over 1.5 in the last 3 games. Over 2.5 in the last 3 games as well. Head-to-head, last game was a 1-1 draw, 0-0 before that in 2023, 2022. Over 1.5 goals, this is a value bet, so I'm going to add it to this. Over 1 goal, 1.61, and that is how you can find great odds for certain markets like that in a matter of seconds. So what do you think about that one? I'm on the fence about the Leverkusen goal, only because of the odds, not because of the probability or anything. I think there will be goals in that second half. You know what I'm going to do, actually? We're going to make this a bit more of a ballsy one, because I've just had an idea where we might find some value. Half with most goals, second half, we're going for this. And then the other game, I shouldn't have removed it because I can't remember the team names. So we've added the BTTS from the Switzerland game that we found via the trends pages. And now we have our treble at 5.55. Let me know what you think about this one. We are living a little bit dangerously on this Halloween weekend. Scary stuff. Let us know what you think about this one in the comments. What would you change? What would you add? What games are you looking at this weekend as well? Let us know. Now, I will leave you with a couple of things. First, the Bet Slip Generator 2.0 is going to be launched today on Friday. Probably later on Friday, but it is going to be launched. Stay tuned to the Telegram channel. Stay tuned to x.com/oddalerts to be first to know how you can access that. And I will leave you as well with the probability model from Saturday's amazing list of fixtures. And if you want to see a video tomorrow, 500 likes on this video, go and do what you need to do if you want to see a Premier League preview. Newcastle Arsenal, Forest West Ham, Liverpool Brighton, Ipswich Leicester, Bournemouth City. Bournemouth at home to Man City. They beat Arsenal in recent weeks. Can they do it again? Southampton, Everton. Yeah, I mean, both pretty bad, aren't they, at the minute? Wolves, Palace. Palace improving. Wolves. Okay, so that has been this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.